What up, just 350 JP in the house. Right now I'm on my way to Wakayama. Ha ha ha. Yo, anyway, this is another part 7 of How to Wake Up Black Man, Woman, and anyone else. And this subject is going to be about money. Okay, I am not an expert concerning money. Let me start. I'm not an expert concerning money or anything like that. I do have a lot of friends who are rich, wealthy. They have businesses. I have reached a certain level of richness, I guess, since wealth is money that that's left over generation to generation. I haven't had that, but I've had my share of financial associates in communications and stuff like that. Basically, this series, I'm not sure how long this is going to be, but these are just my thoughts, so I'm not a professional, but I think they would apply to everyone else. Okay, so let me get started. Anyway, it's about money. Okay, what is money all about, First, I want to talk about my philosophy on how how I think money became so popular and so messed up in people's heads, Anyway, you got the Bible and stuff like that, and everybody's religion, and I'm thinking that Christianity, maybe Catholics, I'm not sure, but if it's under Christianity, Islam and stuff like that, I'm not sure. I don't even really know about Islam, but it should be close. That maybe they don't talk about gaining riches so much. Now, I'm not saying it don't Islam. I do know that there are some stories coming out of like Babylon and stuff like that talks about how to save money, how to get out of debt. One book is The Richest Man in the World. That's a good book. That's a really good book. I read something else, I forgot, or I saw it on YouTube. I forget what it was. But there in Babylon, I guess it seems like back in those days, and not in the days where people are now, but we before them, back in those days, those long days ago, people, you had people who were successful and stuff like that. But anyway, let me stay with Christianity. Anyway, in Christianity, the Bible, quote unquote, the Bible, which I think somebody actually fabricated everything to trick everyone, but it's just my thoughts. And anyway, in the Bible it says you can't serve two masters. I think at the same time, and either you serve God or you serve money and stuff like that. And it's always telling you give your money away to the churches, and this one, the favorite, which I think is really stupid, is it says it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. And I made another video about that. I want to say it again on this one though. I think that is just really the way the preachers tell us, I guess, is they say we should be poor all of our life, and I think he doesn't necessarily have to tell us that, because most of us are, and a lot of us have been and probably will be for the rest of our lives. And what I'm saying about poor is living from paycheck to paycheck or worse. And so it's really interesting, how that passage though. But to me, I look at it as this: it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it's for a rich man to get into heaven. And I look at it as this: that what it is the animals, I guess they have, I don't know, they have this extra sense, when they can sense danger coming, and they all move in the same direction and things like that. Maybe, some video I saw the other day said they have some telepathic wavelengths or something, whatever, even birds, they all fly the same way and stuff like that. Whether they tell each other that or not, I don't know. I don't know how they communicate, or they got that sense of danger, but still they all react the same. And so basically, let's say if that reaction is God, let's say it's a God, the trees, the animals, the birds, everything, You know, it all falls in the same circle of life and death, if you want to call it death, or just, you know, it's your turn to supply the next living things or people with, you know, the nutrients that they need. You know, it's your turn, so you got to say goodbye to everybody or something like that, you know. But I believe animals and trees and stuff like that, they do what God says. And I'm not saying the God of the Bible, but, you know, whatever it is that they're following and stuff, they do those things to the T because they understand that it's better or easier or less complicated to just do what that voice says or whatever than it is to deviate from it. And so what it is that the voice will tell a camel to go through the eye of a needle. And a camel, even though it might be small, which I think the eye of a needle isn't really a real needle, it's just walk on a straight line or something like that, or just do what I say basically, than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. And the reason it's hard for a rich man to get in heaven, you know, is not because his money or his riches or anything, but he doesn't follow directions like the camel does. And rich people tend to do things and, you know, deviate and make wrong choices and stuff like that. But still, at the same time, though, this rich man is following directions. And I'm not saying that he's totally not following directions, but he is. This rich man is providing for his family and providing jobs for other people's families, and maybe doing importing and exporting to other countries, and, you know, creating some type of an income or economy and things like that for other people. And then, as you know, once you start doing business and stuff, then it translates into more free time. And then with that free time, you can have some people investigating things and studying things and creating new things and really tapping into their minds and stuff like that. So that's what this rich man is doing. But somewhere, I guess, you're supposed to have common sense and supposed to figure this out ourselves, because it's not written, that it's almost impossible for a poor person to get into heaven, because if poor people don't, and I'm not saying those that don't have an opportunity, I'm saying those that do have opportunities and things like that it's hard for them to get into heaven, because they're not doing those things that what that voice is telling it to do. Telling them to do, or telling that person to do, because that person isn't the person isn't listening to the voice or listening to the instructions of the voice. And if the person doesn't listen to those instructions, then it's going to be really, really, very, 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 very difficult for that person to get into heaven. So basically, it should have been, it's easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. But for poor people, if you don't straighten up, you ain't going, you know. And but what I'm saying is not, like I said, you know, it's not based on, you know, the wealth of your wealth and stuff like that or anything like that. It's just based on you just not following, you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing to, how you say, pull yourself out of your conditions and things like that. And what I mean by, you know, not studying enough and not socializing with the right groups and stuff like that, not thinking for yourself, not, you know, instead of like going to church, you know, every time you get sad, you go to church, so you know, for your feelings, instead of saying, well, hey, you know, create your own jobs and travel and stop believing all the stuff people putting in your head, and trust, you know, that voice in your head, because that voice is there to help you and only you. So as far as the money and stuff like that, I think the Bible, especially for black people anyway, it really throws us off. And basically, the way the preachers and everything tell you we're supposed to be poor, but we didn't come from a poor country. Africa is the richest country. Well, I say it's a country, even though I know it's a continent, but it's the richest country, you know, on the earth, and no other places has more than that. You know, especially in Libya, I think they got the most reserves on the earth.